In the last video, we painted our walls with 18th century Paris, with or de Paris, the warm ochre, with boiserie green, with grisaille and Trianon blue and warm ivory. And many of you wrote to say, I did it. I chose one of those colors. I painted one wall, and then I painted the whole room. Today, I want to show you what happened next. In Paris, in history, and in the development of the most extraordinary small room color palette ever assembled. Napoleon III arrived in 1852, and everything got darker, richer, more theatrical, more extraordinary, and, somehow, even more beautiful in a small space than what came before. If you saw the last video, the one about 18th century paint colors, you already understand the philosophy we're working with. Color chosen not by fashion, but by observation. Color that serves the life being lived in the room rather than impressing visitors who pass through. Color that makes a small space feel inhabited rather than merely decorated. What Napoleon III added to that philosophy was this: depth. Darkness used deliberately and beautifully. And 5 specific colors that are, I would argue, even more relevant to 2026 than the ones we discussed before. Let me explain why. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleon III, became Emperor of France in 1852 and ruled until 1870, 18 years. And in those 18 years, he changed Paris more completely than any ruler since Louis XIV. His prefect, Baron Haussmann, demolished the medieval city and rebuilt it as the Paris we know today. The wide boulevards, the uniform stone facades. The Haussmann apartment buildings with their cast-iron balconies and their mansard roofs and their high ceilings and their herringbone parquet floors. Every apartment in those buildings, every compact Parisian studio, every chambre de bonne, every 2-room apartment in the 6th and 7th and 9th arrondissements was built during or immediately after the reign of Napoleon III, which means that when we talk about 19th century Parisian apartment color, we are talking, specifically, about Second Empire color. About what Napoleon III and Empress Eugenie and their circle understood about beauty, depth, and the relationship between color and the life of a room. The 18th century had been, as we discussed in the last video, an era of refinement, of elegant, complex colors chosen for intimacy and domestic warmth. The Second Empire was an era of ambition, of industrial wealth, of bourgeois confidence, of a new middle class that had money and taste and wanted both to show and to use them. The colors of this era are not subtle. They are not apologetic. They are deeply saturated, richly complex, and theatrical in a way that the 18th century never quite was. Two things made this possible that had not been possible before. First, the synthetic dye revolution of the 1850s. For the first time in history, colors like true crimson, deep Prussian blue, and rich forest green became affordable for ordinary households rather than reserved for the aristocracy. Second, gaslighting and soon electricity, which allowed dark walls to be properly lit in ways that candlelight could never manage. The result was a color vocabulary of extraordinary depth and richness. And it happened in exactly the apartments that most Parisians, and most compact apartment dwellers worldwide, still inhabit today. to say something about the connection between these walls and the building you're living in. If your apartment was built anywhere between 1850 and 1900, in Paris, London, Edinburgh, Toronto, or any city that experienced Victorian-era urban expansion, these are your walls' original colors. Not the white that a previous landlord painted over them, not the pale gray of a recent renovation. These, the sang-de-boeuf, the Vert Imperial, the taupe profond, these are the colors this room was designed to hold. And when you put them back, something clicks into place that no amount of contemporary decorating can quite replicate. Five colors. That is all we need. And together they constitute the most complete, most coherent, most historically grounded small room color palette of the 19th century. Color 1. Sang-de-boeuf Blood of the Ox. The most dramatic color in the Second Empire palette. A deep, warm crimson burgundy. Not the bright red of a British postbox, not the cool burgundy of a Bordeaux wine, but something richer and more complex than either. It was the defining color of the Second Empire salon. Used on walls, on heavy velvet upholstery, on the thick curtains that framed tall windows. In a small room, sang-de-boeuf does something that only the most saturated colors can achieve. It makes the room feel like the inside of something. Like a jewel box. Like a theater stage. The walls do not merely enclose the space, they become the space. And that transformation, in a compact apartment, is one of the most powerful things a color has ever done. Modern equivalents. Faro and Ball, Rectory Red, number 217, Benjamin Moore, Caliente AF, 290 Sherwin-Williams, Antique Red, SW, 1300. Color 2. Vert Imperial green. Not the boiserie green of the 18th century, which was gray-green and domestic. Something deeper, darker, and considerably more commanding. Vert Imperial is a forest green with a significant brown base, almost a green-black in shadow, opening to a rich, warm forest tone in direct light. It was the color chosen for the formal rooms of the Second Empire's most prestigious addresses, and it has a quality that no other green possesses in a small room. It makes the room feel grounded, heavy, settled, like the room has been there for a century and intends to remain. In 2026, as interior designers globally reach for exactly this quality, for colors that feel intentional rather than fashionable, Vert Imperial is perhaps the most relevant of all the five. Modern equivalents: Farrow and Ball Studio Green, number 93, Benjamin Moore Forest Green 2047-10, Little Green Invisible Green. Color 3. Taupe Profond, Deep Taupe. The quietest of the five and the most misunderstood. Taupe Profond is not the flat, characterless greige of contemporary interior design. It is something far more complex, a warm brown gray with hints of violet and rose in its base, which means it shifts dramatically between morning and evening light. By daylight, it reads as a sophisticated warm neutral. By lamplight, it deepens towards something almost lilac brown, a color the Victorians called mole and considered one of the most elegant tones available. In a small apartment, taupe profond is the color that works hardest without announcing itself. It makes the room feel considered and complete without ever competing with the furniture, the objects, or the light. Modern equivalents: Farrow and Ball London Stone, number 6, Benjamin Moore Putnam Ivory HC 39, Sherwin-Williams Accessible Beige, SW 7036. Color 4. Blue-gris, imperial blue-gray. The Second Empire's version of what the 18th century called Trianon blue, but darker, more saturated, and considerably more dramatic. Blue-gris imperial is a Prussian blue deepened with gray and the faintest touch of green. The color of winter sky over Paris at dusk, of aged Sèvres porcelain, of the velvet interiors of Napoleon III private railway car. In a small room, this color does something remarkable. It makes the space feel simultaneously intimate and expansive. The blue recedes, creating depth. The gray warms what would otherwise be a cold color. And the overall effect is a room that feels both grand and domestic at once, which is precisely the paradox that the Second Empire style was designed to achieve. Modern equivalents: Farrow and Ball, Hague Blue, No. 30, Benjamin Moore, Van Dusen Blue, HC 156, Sherwin-Williams, Naval, SW 6244. Color 5. Noir de fumée, smoke black. The most audacious of the five. Not black. Never pure black on a wall, which is simply darkness without atmosphere. Noir de fumée is a warm charcoal with a significant bronze or brown base, the color of soot on a fireplace stone that has been lit for 50 years. It is the color of the most daring Second Empire interiors. The library walls, the smoking rooms, the private studies where Napoleon III ministers worked late into the night. In a small apartment, this color requires commitment. But what it gives in return is extraordinary. A room that feels completely different from anything around it. A room that feels deliberately, confidently made. A room that says, without speaking, someone chose this and knew exactly what they were doing. Modern equivalents: Farrow and Ball, Railings, No. 31, Benjamin Moore Silhouette, 2117-30, Sherwin-Williams, Urbane Bronze, SW 7048. Here is something the Second Empire understood that most contemporary interior advice has forgotten. Colors in an interior are not evaluated individually. They are experienced in relationship. The 5 colors we have just examined were never used in isolation. They were designed to be combined. Sang-de-boeuf against ormolu gold hardware. Vert Imperial alongside the warm honey of polished walnut. Blue gris Imperial with white cornicing and brass candlesticks. Taupe profond as the background for every other color in the room. In a small apartment, the most powerful application of this principle is what the Second Empire called the axe intérieur, using the strongest of the 5 colors in a contained zone. The inside of a bookshelf, the recessed back of an alcove, the wall behind a fireplace, while keeping the surrounding walls in one of the quieter tones. The result is a small room that has depth, drama, and visual complexity without ever feeling overwhelmed. I want to be honest about something before we talk about application. These are not timid colors. They are not colors you choose because you want to be safe or inoffensive or because you think they will please everyone who walks into the room. These are colors you choose because you have decided that your apartment should reflect your taste and your history and your willingness to live with depth and conviction. If you chose one of the 18th century colors from the last video and felt, after a few weeks, that you wanted more richness, more drama, more presence, these are your next step, and they will not disappoint you. Four rules for small rooms. Rule 1. Start with Vert Imperial or taupe profond if you're uncertain. These are the two most forgiving of the five, the ones that work in almost any room, in almost any light, against almost any furniture. Sang-de-boeuf, blue, gris, imperial, and especially noir de fumée require more specific conditions to achieve their full effect. Rule 2. Always use flat finish. This is the same rule as the 18th century, and it is even more important with these deeper colors. A satin or eggshell finish on sang-de-boeuf creates a room that looks like a theatrical set rather than an inhabited space. Flat finish makes the color absorb light in a way that is warm, matte, and genuinely beautiful. Always flat. No exceptions. Rule 3. Use a tinted primer in a tone close to the final color. For sang-de-boeuf, prime in a medium warm red-brown. For Vert Imperial, prime in a medium dark green-gray. A tinted primer allows the flat top coat to achieve its full depth in 2 coats rather than 3 or 4, and the depth of these colors is everything. Rule 4. Commit to the color. These colors do not work at half commitment. A single wall of sang-de-boeuf in an otherwise white room does not create a second empire interior. It creates a single red wall. If you choose one of these colors, apply it to all 4 walls, the ceiling if you're doing a full drench, and at minimum the door frames and window reveals. The color needs to envelop the room to do its work properly. Segment 5. What Napoleon III understood that 2026 is rediscovering. Something interesting is happening in interior design right now. After years of white walls and greige and the endless pursuit of the inoffensive neutral, the most respected designers in the world are reaching for depth, for complexity, for colors that have what one recently called a life of their own. Benjamin Moore's color of the year for 2026 is Silhouette, described as an alluring cross between chocolate and charcoal. The color experts at Homes and Gardens are writing about replacing beige with colors that have depth and interest that shift as the light moves through the day. The trend forecasters are speaking of cocooning, of interiors that feel enveloping rather than open, intimate rather than airy, settled rather than transitional. these descriptions is, essentially, a description of the Second Empire interior, of what Napoleon III Paris understood 170 years ago, and what 2026 is only now finding its way back to. The colors were always right. It just took us a while to remember. 1855, in an apartment on the boulevard Haussmann, one of the new boulevards that was just being cut through the old city. A decorateur Parisian applied the first coat of sang-de-boeuf to a freshly plastered wall. He was working with a color that had been made affordable for the first time in history by the synthetic dye revolution of that decade. He was creating, in a relatively small room in a relatively modest new building, an interior of a richness and depth that would have been unthinkable 20 years earlier. He did not know that 170 years later, someone in London or Toronto or Sydney would stand in a small apartment looking at a wall painted in almost exactly the same color and feel, without knowing quite why, that the room had become complete. That something had been found that had been missing for a very long time. Il le savait pas. He didn't know. Mais la couleur le savait. But the color knew. Before I go, I want to know, did any of you try one of the 18th century colors from the last video? And if you did, which one? And what happened when you stood back and looked at the room? Tell me in the comments. Because those stories are the reason I make these videos. Merci. Au revoir de Paris.
Mm-hmm.